All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem and Mashiach Yahushai. All right. So we always praise the Most High on High Holy Day. Okay. So today begins the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles. So let's give the Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai for the High Holy Day, the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay. So and that's also the Sabbath. How about that? All right, the beginning of the Sabbath, right? So how about that? So as always, we want to start off with Judges, right? The book of Judges. And the reason why I start off with this is because for those brothers who are teaching the law is you have to keep the law. And we want to show that the Most High said in our captivity, we're supposed to keep the commandments also. Rehearse the righteous acts. So that's what I want to show. Okay, we want to rehearse the righteous acts. So that's why we recognize the high holy days. With the Hebrews, correct? With the Hebrews. So the Hebrews was Judges 5:11. Okay, Judges 5:11. With the Hebrews. So we're supposed to keep the Most High's commandments. And it's imperative, especially in these last days, that we keep the commandments. Look, the commandments are supposed to be kept out of faith. See, when Yahushua instituted faith and brought faith in the gospel, he also said what? Keep his law, statute, commandments. Keep the commandments. He also said that. So you can't just say, well, I have faith, but I don't have to keep the commandments. That don't make any sense. Understand? So Yahushua was talking about faith in keeping his law, statutes, and commandments, his gospel, the truth. Understand? So that's where we're at. So we're in the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay? Feast of Tabernacle goes for 7 days, and on the 8th day is a holy convocation. Okay, another Sabbath. Okay, Con? So I just want to read Judges 5:11 to show you the Most High is teaching Israel wherever we're at in our captivities, and we're dispersed all over the earth. Wherever we're at, the Most High is saying, rehearse the righteous acts. Go ahead, Doc. Read that for us.
The book of Judges, chapter 5, verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water.
Right. So those that are delivered from the archers, okay, the places of drawing waters. So the archer is talking about the so-called nuclear bombs, or the, when a bow and arrow is shot from an archer, and an archer, y'all can turn around. If you have to turn around, y'all right here, you can turn around and face if you, you know what I'm saying. So the archer, when the archer shoots a bow and arrow, all right, we're going to be delivered from those archers. In other words, when today's bows and arrows, those arrows are going to be these nuclear bombs, okay? The Most High is going to unleash these nuclear bombs on America. So, and also, when the Most High brings down his nuclear bombs, okay? His nuclear bombs, which are pretty much the what? The meteorites that fall from the sky. That's the Most High. See, Esau got his nuclear bombs, and the Most High got his. Okay? So, delivered from the noise of archers, okay, when the remnant of Israel that's left in America and throughout the earth be delivered from the noise of archers, okay? And then it said, from what?
They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water.
In the place where we drew water. Okay, that represents our captivity. That represents our labor. What we've done here in America. We served. We were slaves. Okay? The place of drawing water is where we served slavery at. Okay, that's talking about America, right? So the Most High said, what? When you in these different places of drawing water, okay, Most High said, we're going to do what? Go ahead, Al.
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of Yahweh.
See, that's what the Most High is saying. He said, there you're going to rehearse the righteous acts. Come? Wherever we're at. Okay, and we're dispersed throughout the whole earth. So there, in the place, wherever we're at and dispersed, we're going to keep the laws, statute, or at least rehearse the righteous acts. Okay? So observe the righteous acts. Come? So for a brother to say you don't have to keep the laws, he's out of his mind. So we can observe. So yeah, we're not in our land. Okay? So we can't observe all the facets of the commandments to the letter of the law. Of course, we can't do that. But we can observe. Okay, we can observe the day it falls on. Understand? We can observe the feast day and the ceremonial law and what it contains. Okay, on the day that it falls on. We can do that. That we can do. You can observe the Sabbath, correct? And for the most part, we can keep the Sabbath. We can keep the Sabbath. Now, I know those who may have to work or whatever and so forth, but still, we observe it. We understand that it's every 7 days and it's not on Sunday. Okay, we understand that. Okay, even though you may have to work on it, but that's where the grace comes in the Most High. But you still observe it and you understand what day it falls on. That's what the Most High is talking about. Not just you just out there and you know it's a commandment, but you're not trying to observe it, you're not trying to do nothing. And then you're going to say, well, I have faith. That's not faith. Understand? That's not faith, huh? Okay? So I'm going to finish that.
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of Yahweh, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his villages in Israel.
Right, so even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of the villages of Israel. And that's why when we pray towards where? Okay, we pray towards the east, because that's towards the inhabited villages of Israel. Okay, that's why we pray towards the east. And that's what Solomon prayed for. Remember, Solomon prayed for that wherever we're at in our captivities, if they face this temple, or this tabernacle, remember, Solomon, we're going to go to it. Solomon built the temple of the Most High. So if they face this temple, and wherever they're at, and they pray for forgiveness and repent for their sins, he asked the Most High to bless us. Okay, this is what Solomon asked for, okay, when he built the temple of the Most High, and he was given the architect of how to build it, okay, and the strategy on how to build it by David. The Most High gave it to David. David gave it to Solomon to build. And so after Solomon built it, he prayed, and on the Feast of Tabernacles, we're going to go to, on the Feast of Tabernacles, he prayed to the Most High and said, wherever we're at, okay, in our captivities, because Solomon seen in visions that we're going to go into captivity. He's seen it too. David knew it. Solomon knew it. We were going to fall and go into captivity. Moses, of course, knew it. All right? And so we fell into captivity. So, but Solomon prayed that we would, wherever we go, if we pray towards the east, pray towards Jerusalem, that our prayers would be answered. Understand? So if you go on Sunday to Sunday church, right, every Sunday, and you get up there and pray to Jesus, is that praying towards the east and praying to the Most High and Yahushua? Hell no. Understand? Understand? So who are you praying to then? You're praying to the devil. You're praying to Satan. Now you may say, but my prayers were answered. Yeah, but Satan answered your prayers. It's a difference there, isn't it? Satan answered your prayers, not the Most High. Because you prayed towards, on Sunday, which is sun worship, praying to Satan, understand, on Sunday. So who answered those prayers? Understand? So you gotta look at that on that level, man. All right? So that was it on that, right? And then go to Leviticus, right? Leviticus 23 and 34. Leviticus 23:34.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 34. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto Yahweh.
Right. So what is the Most High saying here? Okay, on the 15th day of the 7th month shall be a Feast of Tabernacles. So that's why through research of knowledge and wisdom of the Most High, and understanding of the ceremonial laws, what do? We search out when the Feast of Tabernacles is. Now, it said the 7th month. Kun? It said the 7th month. Kun?
Kun.
Okay. Which means what? It has to be 7 new moons have to go by. Con? And then on that new moon of the 7th month, con? On the 7th month, then you count up to your 15th day, and then you would have the Feast of Tabernacles. But they say October is what month in Esau's world? They say it's the 10th month. 10 moons didn't go by. Only 7. Understand? Con? 10 moons didn't go by. And of course, the year with the Most High begins when? It begins in the springtime, the month of Abib. Okay, March, April. And we had the Passover in April, right? So, and that new moon from that time, then you count your moons. And we're here in the 7th moon. That's all. Okay? But why does it say that? Because this is how we know you count from the moons, because in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus 43, it's going to tell you. It tell you the moon is a sign of what? A feast. Okay, your feast days. Okay, that's not too hard to figure out. The moon's a sign of your feast days. Okay, so as Hebrew Israelites, we got to get this straight. And this is why, because the Most High said, once we go into captivity, we were going to lose this knowledge and lose the understanding of how to understand the sighting of the new moon, okay, and ceremonial laws, how to obtain and get the understanding of the ceremonial laws, that we would lose that. Okay? It was 43 and 7?
6.
Or 6. Start from the 6th verse.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 43, verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her seasons.
See, the moon serves in her seasons. Go ahead, up.
For a declaration of time.
See, the declaration of times. What times? Going to tell you. Go ahead.
And a sign of the world.
In the sign of the world. Go ahead.
From the moon is the sign of feast.
See, the moon is what?
A sign of feast.
The sign of feast. So this is how we know it's the Feast of Tabernacles. Con? Okay. This is how we know it's the Feast of Tabernacles. So we count 7 new moons from the month of Abib, which means spring forth. Abib means spring forth. You count 7 moons, new moons. And here we are in the 7th month. You count 15 days, and what do you have? The Feast of Tabernacles. And then the Tabernacles must fall on a what? What type of moon it must fall on? A full moon. Now, if you go outside and look up, if it's a clear day, you're going to see it's a full moon. Con? It's a full moon today. Understand? The Passover also must fall on a full moon. If it doesn't, that means what? Your calculation somewhere is kind of off. It's kind of wrong. Understand? It has to fall on a full moon. Con? All right? And it is a full moon tonight. All right? Okay, go ahead, up.
Verse 7. From the moon is a sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
See, it's a sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in our perfection. Okay? So that's why you have from the new moon, which is dark, okay? And then from the dark moon, then you have the initial crescent, which is the first light, okay? Then you have the other stages of the moon. It goes from a half moon, right? 3/4 moon, then full moon. Understand? So the moon has many stages to it. And then it goes back to the new moon again. That's how you know the month begins over again. Understand? Understand? So this is how, on a simplistic level, how we understand how we get the high holy days. Okay? Understand? And the Most High gave us that knowledge, but we lost all that knowledge when we came into captivity. Understand? We lost it all. But now it's our duty to get it all back. But the Most High gives it to us back. It's in the Bible. Okay? In the Bible. In the other histories, the Jubilees, the Book of Enoch, and the other histories, in the Josephus, tells you about the new moon, the first light of the moon. Okay, it tells you all that. And so it's our job to begin to read our history, study to show thyself approved, understand who you are, understand where you came from, understand your nationality. Okay, learn your language. How are you going to be a nation? How are you going to be a nation with no language? So you're not going to study your language? All right? What about your land? How are you going to be a nation and you have no land? Understand to speak of. So understand concerning Israel. That's why it's important to even go over there. Okay? But if you can. All right, come. But in the last days, a remnant of us are going to be over there anyway. And we're going to gain, that's our land. So Mosiah said, Yahushua, we're taking it back. We're taking it back. Doesn't matter how much weaponry the Israelis got, and the so-called white man who call himself a Jew over there got. Doesn't mean nothing. We taking it, brother. In Yahushua, we taking the land back. Okay? We're taking it back. Okay, go ahead. I can finish that.
Verse 8. The month is called after her name.
See, the month is called after her name, meaning the moon. The month is called after her name. And of course, the month is called after her name, meaning, of course, we had Hebrew names for each month. Okay? Not January, which is after Januarius. Okay? Not August, which is named after Augustus. Understand? And so on and so forth. They are named after Greek names. Okay? Sometimes after Roman Caesar names. Okay? After Caesar names. All right? Augustus and so forth. And sometimes after their Greek gods. Okay? The months are named after. So, of course, it's not after the Hebrew. The names is not after our language in Hebrew. It's after Esau's. Okay? The Greco-Roman Latin, okay, language. And now that's what you're dealing with. Because Scripture says Esau changed times and laws. Okay? So everything is named after his Latin language. Greek language. Understand? All right. And was that it up?
The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above.
Yeah, see? Being an instrument of the armies above. How about that? Mosiah calls the heavens an army. Huh? Think about that. He calls the heavens an army. The stars, sun, moon. Okay? That's an army to the Mosiah. Why? Because they all obey the Mosiah. Understand? They all obey the Heavenly Father. And they're spiritual forces. The stars, they are commanded to do what they do. Come? The sun is commanded that does what it does. The moon is commanded. Do you understand? Those are spiritual forces up there. It's commanded. It's going to show you. Go ahead, huh?
Shining in the firmament of heaven.
See? Shining in the firmament of heaven. And as you can see, if you look up there, it's just above the firmament. And another thing, we got to realize that the sun and the moon are equal in circumference. Do you understand? They're equal in circumference. Okay, Esau will tell you something else, something different. But they're equal in circumference. Understand? Okay, go ahead, Al.
The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of Yahweh.
Ornament of giving light. See, so they have a purpose. Okay? So why does the stars and sun and moon obey the Most High, and we as a nation can't obey the Most High? What's wrong with us? What the hell's wrong with us? The armies of heaven can obey the Most High and do what they do every day. The sun doesn't miss a beat, does it? The moon doesn't miss a beat. If the moon misses one step or misses one beat, and the way Israel was able to observe and be able to understand the circuitry of the moon, if it misses one beat, we'd be thrown off, wouldn't we? So the stars, because Israel, we follow the stars too, right? All right? Remember the wise men who had to follow the star, that star? Okay, leading to Yahushua? If that star wasn't commanded to do what it did, they would have been thrown off, right? So how come the stars of heaven can obey and we can't obey? What's wrong with us? Stiff-necked and hard-headed. That's the hell problem. See? That's the problem with Israel. Stiff-necked and hard-headed. See? So everything else. How come the seas can obey? You know how the seas don't go past the shoreline? That's done by the command of the Most High. You understand that? Because the waters is deeper than the earth. If all that water started to come upon the earth, what would happen? So there would be no more land, we'd be covered in water. But the Most High has the seas stay in its place, doesn't it? And the seas come on shore and then go right back. That's done by order, by commandment of the Most High. But we can't follow commandments. You're just too good. You're just too good to follow. Pride, right? But the sun has no pride. The moon has, they just do what they're supposed to do in order and in commandment of the Most High. But Israel, we out of order. Now you see why the Most High turned the earth upside down, and now we upside down in it. And now it's given into the hands of our enemies, which is the negative. They're the negative force. Okay? And this is where we're at now. Okay? Go ahead up.
Verse 10. At the commandment of the Holy One.
At what?
At the commandment of the Holy One.
At what?
At the commandment of the Holy One.
See what the Most High said? The armies of heaven, the sun, moon, the stars, and everything else in heaven, at the commandment of the Most High. Understand? And that's also including who? The angels too. Notice how the angels don't miss a beat. When the angels come talk to you, they don't say, well, maybe I'll change what the Most High said for me to do. Maybe I'll change it. Okay, no, they don't change nothing. Everything is on time. There's nothing out of course. Even Esau being the devil, is that wrong? No, that's right. Is that wicked? No, that is right. It's wicked. He's wicked, but everything is right with the Most High. You understand? Because the Most High ordered the wickedness. And you say, well, they put their knee on George Floyd's neck, but that was ordered by the Most High. So that was what the Most High wanted. Do you understand? They shot Jacob Blake in the back. Why'd that happen? Because the Most High ordered it to happen. And then all Esau being who he is, the son of the devil, follows orders. He don't know that it's, in his mind, he think he's just doing it, but he's following the orders of the Most High. Through Satan. You got to understand, the Most High said he controls the evil in this earth. He controls it. So when there's evil in the city, Most High said, I did that. And you went around saying, oh, the white man's wicked. No, the white man's doing what he's supposed to do. The only one, who's out of order? Us or the so-called white man? We're out of order. He's doing what he's supposed to do. You understand? We're the ones out of order. Esau is in line with what he's supposed to do. When you really look at it on a spiritual level. Do you understand? He's supposed to make a coronavirus. That was by the Most High. Most High had him do that. Why? To kill people. The Most High said, I bring death in this earth. So did Esau do anything wrong? No. But because we look at it carnally, we think he did something. He's doing what is right. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Understand? And yeah, a lot of our people are down from coronavirus, but Most High, he brought that. Understand? Because he said he's going to bring diseases, okay, on this earth. That was not even mentioned, okay, in the scriptures. It's not even something that came out of Egypt. Okay? All the diseases of Egypt, he says, he's going to bring, plus diseases that are even not mentioned. Okay? So all that is coming. It's all straight from the Most High, because why? We're in the last days. The Most High said that's his purpose. His purpose is to bring, okay, judgment to the earth. And it's coming. Okay? Go ahead, Art.
At the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order.
See? What do the stars, the sun, moon, and the angels in heaven do? They stand in order. Well, how come Israel can't be in order? The 12 tribes of Israel. What's wrong with us? Huh? What's wrong with us, man? We got to get in order, brother. Okay? It's high time for us to get in order now. If all the other creations of the Most High is in order with the Most High, and of course, we are the Hebrew Israelites, we in Most High's creation as his firstborn, his chosen in this earth, and we can't be in order. What the hell's wrong with us? We got a serious problem. Understand? So we better get in order. Understand? So, and then you better begin to fall in line what the scriptures say for us to do. Okay? Begin to rehearse the righteous acts. Begin to do it. Okay? Start in your household. All right? Start. because it's coming. And you see their households, the Most High is dealing with each of us through our households. He said, I'm gonna bring 2 of a house and 1 of a city. That's how he's dealing with us. Okay, go ahead, Art.
And never faint in their watches.
See, how come we faint? What's wrong with 12 tribes of Israel? We faint and we lose faith, but the stars and the sun and the moon never faints.
Come.
But we faint. Understand? That means fainting means what? You lose faith. Okay? And so we can't lose faith. Now's the time for your faith to be even stronger, okay, than it was even yesterday. How about that?
Come.
All right? Okay, go ahead, Up.
That's about it.
That's it on that one, right?
Yeah.
So when you go back now to Leviticus 23, and you read 34, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then you read, go on down, you're going to read the 41.
Okay. Verse 35. On the first day shall be a holy convocation.
See, the first day is tonight, today, all right, is a holy convocation, the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles. Come. Go ahead, Up.
Ye shall do no servile work therein.
No servile work. It's a Sabbath. It acts as a Sabbath. This is a high holy day of Sabbath, even though it falls on the actual Sabbath, but it's, even if it fell on any other day, it would still be a Shabbat. Come. All right, go ahead, Up.
7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
7 days you make an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. Now, can we do that over here in Americas? No. So we can't keep that part of the law. But that's why the Most High said, just rehearse the righteous acts, because there's certain parts or facets of these commandments and ceremonial laws that we can't really keep in our captivities. Understand? Because we would need cattle for this. Understand? We would need lambs and understand? And oxen and so forth for this. All right, go ahead, Up.
On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you.
On the 8th day acts as another Sabbath. So the 7 days, as we read on down, we're going to show you what we're supposed to do on these 7 days. On the 7th day, the first day is a holy convocation of feast day, right? And the 8th day is a holy convocation of feast day. But during those whole 7 days in between there, okay, we're supposed to do something. It's going to show you. Go ahead, Up.
And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
Yeah, so you're supposed to make an offering. So now we can't make, of course, those type of offerings that we did and when we were in our land, in ancient time, we were in our land making those offerings, right? That's what's actually supposed to happen. Okay, so what offering can you make now? The offering is who? Yourself. That's the offering you make now. Okay? Yahweh Shai gave himself as the offering for the whole nation, right? So what offering can you make now? See? You don't put it on the goat or the lamb anymore, or the oxen, right? What offering can you make? It's supposed to be yourself now. See? And this is why you got to hold that, get Romans 12 and 3. What, or is it Romans 12 and 1? It's one of those. But what offering can you make now? See, this is why the Most High said, I'm going to do away with these offerings for now. 12 and 1. So that faith can be established. So now the offering has to come from you, from your spirit. Okay? You have to be the sacrifice now. How about that? Can you be the sacrifice? Huh? Can you be the sacrifice? How about that? Shalom, shalom, shalom. Okay. Go ahead, Al. Read that for us.
The book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice.
See, now you present your body as the living sacrifice. Understand? No more the goat or the lamb or the oxen. Understand? Which actually is part of the ceremonial law, the commandment. But now since we can't do that no more, and the sacrificial laws are done away with in Yahushua. But here it says sacrifice. You still got to sacrifice something. It's you that is the sacrifice. Okay? And if you don't gain that spirit of sacrifice, okay, then being in this truth, it's going to be a hard deal for you. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard deal. Understand? Because you got to have a willing spirit. You got to have a willing mind, a willing spirit. Okay? To sacrifice yourself, your mind, your body, okay, to the Most High to do this work to build the nation of Israel back up. This is what Yahweh Shai is looking for. He ain't looking for nobody coming here like it's some damn party. You know what I'm saying? Every feast day you come in, shalom, Mark, and we ain't seen you in months or something like that, understand? And you know it's going to be food. It's why Yahweh Shai said, what do you come for, the food or you come for the truth? Remember he said that? Because he knew Yahweh Shai can create food out of thin air. They knew that. So they knew food was going to be there. So what do you come for? Understand? But Yahweh Shai said, I know your heart, man. See, he know their hearts. And he know all the brothers that are like that. Okay? Because these are the type of brothers that come in like a thief. They don't come sincere. Understand? They don't come with the true honesty of their heart. They come like a thief. Understand? But Yahweh Shai know this type of brothers, all right? And we can't be like that, okay? Because we're building a nation that's going to take everybody, brother. Okay? We're building from the ground up. Just like we were coming out of Egypt. It's going to take everybody, okay? Everybody. And everybody has a part to play. Believe it or not, you have a part to play. You just got the Spirit to show you what that is. Okay? We'll show you. Go ahead, Al.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice.
Present your bodies as a living sacrifice. See? Okay? Sacrifice yourself for the building of this nation. Okay? No matter where you at and what you're doing. Okay? This is what Yahweh Shai looks for. Yahweh Shai is not looking for you to become part of Black Lives Matter. He don't care about that. He's not looking for you to become a Republican or a Democrat. He don't care about that. He's not looking for you to celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving when it comes. They don't care about that. Understand? I got news for you. The Most High really don't even care about you marching in the streets for justice and all that stuff. He don't care about that. Because that's not how you're going to get justice. Okay, you got to return back to the Most High. The Most High is going to bring justice back to the whole nation when we return back to Him in righteousness. Okay, in uprightness and obeying His commandments. Then you're going to get justice. Okay, there's going to be more killings. Okay, you talking about Jacob Blake getting shot in the back? Okay, they're making it more blunt now. Okay, where they're not hiding it how they want to kill you. Understand? But you're not ready for that revolution, are you? Our people are not ready for that type of revolution. A real revolution brings what? Bloodshed. A real one. Protesting in the streets is not a revolution. That's just you walking in the streets with signs. What did that do? And where did that get us? Nowhere. And then you throwing rocks at buildings, that don't get you nowhere. But I tell you what, do what they do to you, take one of them out, and then the revolution is on, isn't it? How about it, right? Reciprocate what they do. The revolution is on. And then you're going to get some justice. How about that? Then you're going to get some justice. Watch. But we don't never do that. So we're not serious about this. This ain't no real revolution. But in Yahweh Shai, it's coming to that. It's going to be real. Because Yahweh Shai is going to push their hand. Okay? He's going to make it where ultimately there's nothing else you can do but fight back. What else can you do? Man shooting you in the back. What else can you do but fight back? Okay, but it's going to come to that. Okay, in Yahweh Shai, it's going to come. Go ahead, up.
Present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service.
Yeah, you haven't even done the reasonable service of the Most High yet. Presenting your bodies a living sacrifice is reasonable. Some of us can't even do that. You can't even do what is reasonable. And you want the Most High to bless you with this and that. Now you haven't done the reasonable service. And we want all these blessings. Understand? Why should the Most High give you all that? You better get out there and get a job or something. You want all that. Okay? That's the Most High say, get out there and work. And then the resources that you get, then you get what you hoping for, what you're looking for.
Come.
But the Most High ain't giving you a whole bunch of blessings, man, and you haven't even done the reasonable service of the Most High yet.
Come.
Understand? We're supposed to elevate ourselves to the enlightened children of the Most High.
Come.
We haven't done that yet. We haven't even done that yet. Here we are, you know, and there's a lot of us know that we're Israelites now. You got Israelite schools and camps in every city in America. But here we are fighting amongst one another, competition and all that. This camp think he's better than that camp, and this camp think they know more than this camp. This camp say they got 100% truth, and that camp, then that camp, and so on and so forth. See? We still ain't right. We're still not right. There's things that we're doing in the world that we're doing in within the realms of understanding that we're Israelites that the world does. There's fornication, there's adultery, there's rape, robbery, and murder, all in Israel, brother. All within Israel. In other words, these Israelite camps and schools, you got all that going on. Sorry. You got all that going on, man. Understand? All that going on. Read a book about the 7 churches in Revelation. All that stuff was going on. Fornication, adultery, all that was going on. And Mosiah said, man, though, things that you do in that church, I hate those things. Okay? But there's some good things you got going on. But read the whole thing about the 7 churches, the first 3 chapters of Revelation. Understand? So yeah, in every so just like today, the Israelite camps and schools, you got the same thing going on. And we can't even do the reasonable service. So we're still not right, even though we know that we're Hebrew Israelites. That's why the Most High got to take us out of here and what? Purge out the rebels. And bring us into the wilderness and purge out the rebels. Because he can't get together in America, that's not going to happen. Most High got to isolate us somewhere, like in the wilderness somewhere, and then talk to us, and then command us, and then bring us back the covenants. Bring us back into the fold and the bond of the covenant. Can't do it in America. Too many distractions. Okay, just too much. Understand? Can't do it. Okay, go ahead, Up. Was that
Verse 2. And be not conformed to this world.
See, be not conformed to the world. How about that? So if the Most High said don't be conformed to the world, why do our people think that politics is going to free them? That's in the world, ain't it? Why do they think religion is going to free them or Christianity is going to free them? That's of the world, isn't it? I don't understand that. I still understand that. If it says, Mosiah, don't be conformed to the world because why? Mosiah said, I hate the world. So why do our people, especially the religious ones of our people, read that? They read that, right, and still going to conform to what the world says. The world says go out and vote. Who the hell wants to vote for Trump or Biden? Biden is losing it. Man got dementia. And Trump is just a plain old idiot. Biden said it. Biden said this man's a clown. Biden called him a clown on nationwide TV. You see, this is the great republic. You got 2 of them, you know what I'm saying, who are part of the same serpent. Okay, one's the head, one's the tail. Part of the same serpent. Right? 2 heads of the same coin. Right? So they're all working for master. Right? But here they call each other names. You know what I'm saying? All type of things. So this is what you get. And you're going to vote for one of them? Be not conformed to the world. Forget about voting. Okay? Go ahead, Op.
But be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. See, renew. Renew your mind. Understand? So take out the old man and take out the old parts. Okay? Because sometimes the old parts get weary and wear out. No good no more. So it's the old man is no good because that's the sinful man. That's no good anymore. Okay? Because of the journey where we're going, the Most High can't deal with that old man. He can't deal with those old parts. And that sinful man, he can't deal with it. So he got to take it away. You got to take it away. How about that? You got to do it. Understand? You got to clean yourself up. The Most High gives you the blueprint on how to do it, So now you gotta do it. You gotta take the initiative to do it.
Come.
Look, I'm gonna tell you something. We got brothers in the truth that still smoke, still do marijuana, still do, you know what I'm saying, drugs. They get drunk. We got all that, brother. Same thing you find out in the world. You talk about an opioid situation in the world, you got an opioid crisis in Israel. Oh, but damn near. How about that? Understand what I'm saying? You got all that. Understand? That's why the Most High got to clean us up. Okay? He got to clean us up.
Come.
All right? We got to be clean. That's why the Most High says, circumcise your heart. See? Even an 8-day-old male got to circumcise. You got to circumcise him the 8th day. But now the Most High said you got to circumcise your heart, which is your spirit.
Come.
You got to do that. See? Cleanse yourself. Go ahead, Doc.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh.
How are you going to prove yourself to the Most High? How are you, Israel, going to prove yourself to the Most High now? How are you going to do it? See? Present your body as a living sacrifice. See, that's the greatest way that you can prove to the Most High. Just give yourself over to Yahushua. And then be obedient and do what Yahushua say do. That's the perfect way to do it. Do you understand? The disciples did it. The prophets did it. Understand? If the Most High said, Prophet Ezekiel, you got to eat dung, human dung, to show my people that they're going to eat dung amongst the nations, as an obedient prophet, he had to do it. He had to do it. See, present your body as a living sacrifice. He had to do it, and he did. Well, he asked the Most High, could it be cow dung? How much more better is that? Well, at least cow eat grass. You know, at least that. You know what I'm saying? But human dung, who knows what humans eat? They eat all kinds of madness, right? So the Most High asked Isaiah to walk, prophesy naked, to show Israel that they're going to be naked amongst the nations they go in captivity, meaning naked of truth and knowledge, right? Not that you run around, but Isaiah had to actually do it. Sitting there prophesying naked, right? With his buttocks out, right? And to show Israel as a sign to Israel. See, present your body as a living sacrifice. Understand what I'm saying? Now you're showing the Most High something. Come? That's why the Most High want to see some faith. Faith, it goes along conjunction with obedience. Come? Yeah. If you say you have faith, well, show the Most High through action. Faith without works is dead. Show the Most High through some action. That's how you show it. Understand? You don't tell your wife you love her and then don't show her. Understand? She wants some flowers or something. You know? Buy her a dress or something. I don't know, something. That's what they want to see, Hold on, guys. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Op.
For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think.
So don't think of himself more highly than he ought to be. All right? So, meaning, Mosiah is dealing with a humble nature. He wants you to come in humbly. Right? Because you're not who you really think you are. Out in the world, you're one thing. When you come into the truth, you're another. You're another. I don't care who you are out in the world, but in here, you got to sit down and be quiet and be taught. See? When you come before the Most High's priests and prophets, you got to shut up and be quiet and be taught. This is what the Most High is saying. See? But all people don't want to do that because they think out in the world you were a big-time rapper, Hollywood actor, whatever. You come in here and begin to, take center stage and be up on the pedestal. No, you gotta start from the back. Understand? And be taught and be risen up like everybody else. Understand? Like everybody else. So then that's how it's supposed to be done. Okay? Because you have to come through the straight gate. You have to. Okay? Out in the world, yeah, you done got all this position and and different accolades from what you do. But here, in the truth, it's going to be something different. Okay? So was that it on that?
Yeah. Not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly according as Yahweh hath dealt to every man the measure of faith.
Say the measure of faith. So what does that mean? That means your faith and my faith and this brother's faith is all different.
Come.
Not all men have faith, the scriptures say. So everybody's faith is different. That's why you see some brothers can last in this, even in this current world, can last and continue on in the truth and endure to the end, where some brothers fade off, go back out in the world, begin to sin again. We got brothers who we know went back out and started eating pork again. We know these brothers personally. Understand? And start doing things that, you know what I'm saying, that they shouldn't be doing. But they weren't doing it when they were, you know what I'm saying, diligent in the truth, but they went back out. Understand? So why did those brothers do that and the other brothers stay enduring? Understand? So everybody's faith is different. The measure of faith. Understand? It's different in each man and woman and so forth. Okay? Now go back. Yeah, you're going to go back to Leviticus. And where'd you leave off?
36.
36? Yeah.
7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
So this is Leviticus 23 and 36. Go ahead, Up.
On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation
So now,
unto you.
on the 8th day, a holy convocation, right? So it's 7 days plus that last day, the 8th day, a holy convocation. Go ahead, Up.
And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
An offer made by fire unto the Most High. These are, of course, the different animal sacrifices of each high holy day that we would do. Okay? Go ahead, Up.
It is a solemn assembly.
It's a solemn assembly, meaning you come together. It's a solemn assembly, and it's to honor the high holy day that the Most High gave Israel, the Feast of Tabernacles. Go ahead, Up.
And ye shall do no servile work therein.
No servile, meaning it's the Sabbath, right? No servile work therein. All right? No work therein. Go ahead, Up.
These are the feasts of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
See, is that law done away with? That law is not done away with. We're just in dispersed in captivity amongst the nations. But the laws, the statutes continue, don't they? Come? Right, laws, statutes continue. Okay, go ahead, Up.
A burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon his day. Beside the Sabbaths of Yahweh, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your free will offerings, which ye give unto Yahweh.
See, all that's part of the commandment. Okay, come. But because we can't do all those things now because in our captivities, but we can observe. Okay, come. We can observe it. Go ahead, Up.
Also in the 15th day of the 7th month.
This is it here. The 15th day of the 7th month is the Feast of Tabernacles. Go ahead, Up.
When ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto Yahweh 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath.
See, so that's the ceremonial law right there. The Feast of Tabernacles. The Most High is commanding Moses to teach this to the children of Israel in the wilderness when we were coming out of Egypt. Come? Okay, he was giving us these commandments here. Go ahead, Up.
And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees.
Now we're going to get to the part where we're supposed to dwell in booths. Okay? This is where the Feast of Tabernacles also represent. We're supposed to dwell in booths. Okay, now, here we are in our captivities again. We can't dwell in booths for the most of us. But you do have some camps who are able to get together and get like a place where they can lodge and dwell in certain booths. And we did that last year, okay? And we had brothers because we didn't have it here at House of David. We had it at a place in Crossing Brian. Where did we have it last year? In
We had it out in Staten Island.
Staten Island, right. Nice. And we dwelt in tents. We dwelt in booths. So we often, okay. It is out of Egypt dwelling in tents, dwelling in booths. So what would we do? Get the goodly trees, bow branches, palm branches. Okay, go ahead, up.
And willows of the brook.
And willows of the brook. Go ahead, up.
And ye shall rejoice before Yahweh your power 7 days. And ye shall keep it a feast unto Yahweh 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever.
It's going to be how about that? A statute forever. So, who are these brothers talking about the law done away with? He said forever. So you rehearse the righteous acts. Go ahead, Ak.
It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month.
In the 7th moon. In the 7th moon of the year, the 15th day of the 7th moon. How about that? Con? Okay, it's the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, go ahead, Ak.
Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days.
Is it dwelling where?
You shall dwell in booths 7 days.
So, we're supposed to dwell in booths 7 days, representing what? Us coming out of Egypt, dwelling in booths. For how long?
You shall dwell in booths 7 days.
7 days. But how long were we in Egypt? 40 years. Okay? So, I don't know if y'all can see this, but in the Hebrew, the word tabernacle means sakawath. Okay? That's how you spell it. Okay? Sakawath. Esau would say the word sakat. You might have heard that word sakat. What he's really talking about, the Feast of Tabernacles, or Tabernacles, understand? He would say the word sakat in the Yiddish, but it's sakawath, okay? Sakawath, okay? And, all right, sakawath. Go ahead, Ak.
Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths.
That means your whole family, okay, to dwell in booths. So when we finally got to the land of Canaan, okay, so when the Feast of Tabernacles came, what did we do? We would dwell in booths. You would have your house, right? But out in your backyard or on the side of your house, you would make a booth of these goodly trees, boughs and willows and palm, okay, branches, and make a booth, and you would dwell in it for 7 days. Okay, come? That's what we did. And then we, of course, the first day we would go up where? To the tabernacle in Jerusalem. Because that's what the scriptures say for us to do. I'm going to show you that. Okay? You had to do that the first day. And then after that, then you go and start to dwell in your booths for 7 days back in your house. Okay? Because that means you would have to make the trek and travel. If it took hours, we've been to Israel, right? If you lived in Galilee and you had to go to where the tabernacle was in Jerusalem, that was about a 2-hour. I know driving, it's about a 2-hour drive. We did it. It's a 2-hour drive. So back then they'd have cars, right? We didn't have cars, right? So how did we do it? You got on your horse, your mule, or whatever. So that means you would have to figure out the time it would take. Understand? With you and your chariot or horse or whatever, the time it would take from Galilee to Jerusalem to get there before the tabernacle, before the Feast of Tabernacles. You understand? Sure. So I know by driving, because we did it, from Jerusalem, from where Mount Zion is at, to Galilee, which took about 2 hours. That's driving. Understand? But you had to come up to the first day of the Tabernacles, like tonight, you had to go up to Mount Zion, to the temple. Cool. You had to do that. Okay, that was by law. Okay, we're going to show you that. Go ahead, Up.
Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I have made the children of Israel to dwell in booths.
See, so the generation of the children that are coming after us, right? To know, so that they'll know that the Most High made us dwell in booths, trekking in the wilderness for 40 years. Come. Understand? That's why we dwell in booths. And also the word tent means a hall. I don't know if you can see it, but it means a hall. Okay, that's the Hebrew word for tent, a hall. Okay, a hall is the word for tent. Tabernacle, tent. We dwelt in that, and we built the tents because we were the Hebrew Israelites come out of Egypt on the move. You couldn't build this elaborate structure. You know, a brother might want, a 5-bedroom tent. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? With two baths and, you know what I'm saying? Bath. There were no bathrooms. Where'd you use the bathroom at? Yeah, outside.
That's right.
There were no bathrooms. Understand? So we didn't have built these elaborate structures. It had to be, you know what I'm saying? Little small huts, tabernacle, tent type of deal made out of these branches of trees, right? Go ahead.
That your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt.
Right.
I am the Elohim Yahweh, and Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of Yahweh.
The feast of Yahweh, the Most High, through Moses, Mashah, declared the feast. Now, when you get Deuteronomy 16 and 16, it'll tell you the 3 feasts that we're supposed to go up to Jerusalem. On the beginnings of these feasts, you had to go up to Jerusalem. Go ahead, Ak.
15.
Yeah, 16:16. 16th chapter, 16th verse.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 16. 3 times in a year shall all the males appear before Yahweh thy power.
See, 3 times in a year. This is what the Most High was asking for. 3 times, just 3 times in a year, you would come up to Jerusalem, to Mount Zion, to the tabernacle, to the temple. Come? Yeah, 3 times in a year. The other feasts, of course, you didn't have to go up to the temple. Come? But definitely these 3 feasts. Go ahead, Up.
In the place which he shall choose.
Yeah, see? Because why he's saying that? Because we're in the wilderness at this time, and Moses is telling the children of Israel, the place that the Most High shall choose when we get into the land of Canaan, okay, which we know now is Mount Zion, right? In Jerusalem, Mount Zion. So in the place that he shall choose, 3 times in a year you go up to Mount Zion, to where the temple is at. Okay, go ahead, y'all.
In the feast of unleavened bread.
In the feast of unleavened bread, which is the Passover. So the first day of the Passover, come, which is the 14th day of what? Abib. The first new moon, come, which is the 14th day of the first new moon. You count the 14 days at sundown is the Passover, okay, the first day of the feast of unleavened bread. We're supposed to be at the temple, out Mount Zion, in Jerusalem. Come. There's no, ifs, ands, or buts about. That's where you're supposed to be. Come. You're supposed to be there. Okay, so if it took you those whole 14 days from the new moon to start, to make sure that you get there on time, that's what you had to do. Okay? All right? We had to do this. Okay, go ahead, Ak.
And then the Feast of Weeks.
Feast of Weeks is the first fruits. Okay, the same thing. On that 50th day of the first fruits, you count the 7 Sabbaths. Okay, from the barley harvest, you count the 7 Sabbaths. Okay, after the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and then you begin to count the 7 Sabbaths. And on that 50th day, okay, you're supposed to be in Jerusalem, celebrating the first fruits of the Most High. Come. Okay, go ahead, up.
And in the Feast of Tabernacles.
And here we are now, the Feast of Tabernacles. See, those 3 high holy days we're supposed to be at the temple. Go ahead, up.
And they shall not appear before Yahweh empty.
They shall not appear before Yahweh empty, meaning all the males and all the families supposed to at least bring some kind of offering to the Most High for the high holy day. And then, of course, you would lay the offering before the priest. Come. That's what we're supposed to do. Whatever it is, man, you bring that offering to to the priest, and bringing it to the priest is bringing it to, because of the Most High's high holiday, you're bringing it to the Most High. Come?
Come.
That's what we're supposed to do. On those 3 high holidays, we're supposed to do that. Go ahead, Al.
Verse 17. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Elohim Yahweh.
Right, see, according to the blessing of the Most High, that's how you give. So if the Most High blessed you with a lot of cattle, then you would bring your offering in cattle. He blessed you with a lot of silver, you would bring your offering in silver. Blessed you with a lot of gold, you would bring your offering in gold. Whatever it is. All right, come?
Come.
The same thing here now. See? Again, the offering, now the offering is who? The offering is you. See, you bring, you're the jewels of the Most High.
Come.
You're the gold of the Most High. Come?
Come.
And now you're the flock of the Most High. You're the cattle. You're the flock. Then he tells the prophet, become aware of the flock. Understand? The flock of thy pasture. Become aware of it. Look well unto the flock, meaning the children of Israel. You're the flock of the Most High. So you're that offering. Understand?
Come.
And so that's why we bring it up to date now. Because you can't give lambs and goats and all that now as an offering no more. You got to bring yourself. This is what the Most High is looking for. Actually, that's what the Most High was always looking for, Con. He was always looking for. We just didn't do it in righteousness when we had the offering animal sacrifices. Okay? So this is what the Most High is looking for. Okay? And then when you go to Deuteronomy 31, okay? Deuteronomy 31 and 10, because during this feast you also had what? What they called the year of release. Every 7 years, when you read the law, what did Israel have? What did the Hebrew Israelites have? They have what they call a year of release. The year of release. And the Jubilees was like every 50 years. Okay? So, but it was still land on the Feast of Tabernacles, though. Okay, come? So that means all the Hebrew servants, because the Hebrew, you can have your brother as a servant, and he would serve you. Come? We had that. Hebrews had Hebrew servants. Come? But did you make them serve with rigor? Yeah. In other words, they weren't no slaves. Like, you were slaves here in America and in Egypt, and you served bondage, hard bondage, and got whooped if you didn't do the right thing. No, you had a Hebrew servant. Maybe they were a butler. Maybe they were, a housekeeper. Understand? Maybe there was someone that helped you with the flock, that take in the flock and the cattle and stuff. A servant. And he served you for a length of time. Right? And then, but when the year of release came every 7 years, the Hebrew master would have to do what? Release that servant. And you had to do it. You couldn't renege, you had to do it. Come? Okay, go ahead, Up.
In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 10. And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the year of release, in the feast of tabernacles.
Right. Shanya, get some chairs out of here so when people come in, some chairs. Read it one more time, Up.
And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the year of release, in the feast of tabernacles.
Right. So the year of release, the Feast of Tabernacles. It happened always on the Feast of Tabernacles. This is a commandment. Okay, we're going back to these commandments. Okay, when the nation is formed, when Yahweh Shai redeemed us out of America, we're going back to these commandments. Come? Go ahead, Up.
When all Israel is come to appear before the Elohim Yahweh in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing.
See? So we read the law. Just like we're reading it now. Okay? It's going to be read again when we get back into the wilderness and the Most High sets up the leaders and the priests and everything. These laws are going to be read again. Let me show you. It's going to be read again. And you think you can't last for 2 hours, somebody reading the Lord to you, wait till we get in the wilderness. You ain't got no place to go. It's going to be, talking about 2 hours, it's going to be like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. How about that? And you can't start looking at your watch, and you ain't going to have no watch. Brother, I got somewhere to go. We're going to show you, okay? Go ahead, Up. Was that it? Where you at now?
Verse 12.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
I don't want to go too further. Now get 2 Chronicles 5 and 1. 2 Chronicles 5 and 1. Shalom, shalom, shalom. 2 Chronicles 5 and 1. Now, this is Solomon. What does Solomon say, right? Solomon was given commission by King David, his father, to build what? To build the tabernacle, build the temple of the Most High. Correct? He was commissioned to do that. Because David couldn't do it. Why couldn't David do it? David was given the blueprints to do it, and he got all the gold and silver and everything all together. Why couldn't he do it, though? Anybody know why David couldn't do it?
He had blood on his hands.
Okay, yeah, right, there you go. Too much blood. David was a man of bloodshed. He was a man of war. That's the type of man the Most High had. He was a man of war. David, you got too much blood. He had the reputation of killing 10,000 men. You know what I'm saying? That's the reputation that he had. Someone said, "Now you killed too many people, man. I can't have you build that thing. You gotta be somebody like Solomon, your son." Solomon in Hebrew is actually Shalimar. Shalimar in Hebrew means peace. Okay? Means peace. Come? So you got to be somebody like that. Understand? David was a military man. Come? Remember, David had a military. His military was so advanced, and of course, spiritually military also. David had a spiritual military army. It was so advanced that only 5 men could go into a country and take out the whole country. So David didn't need his whole army in certain situations. He didn't need his whole army. You just choose 5 men. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go and take out the whole country. Yeah, and they take over the whole country. It's 5 men. You're talking about thousands of people. 5 men going in and take it down. See the level that we were on? Now you run from 2 men right now. You know what I'm saying? You run from 2. Understand? But back then it wasn't like that. David had what he called the 37 mighty men. You ever read about that? 37 mighty men in David's army? They were the mightiest of the mighty. So his whole army was mighty. But then you had the mightiest of them. Understand? So now you can see why the Most High said, the least of us in the kingdom is going to be like David. That's the least. So what do you think the other's going to be like? Right? Angels. And 1 angel is 1,000 times, 10,000 times stronger than the sun. So what do you think, those brothers, 144,000, what do you think they're going to be like? Angelic forces. Because they're going to be given the kind of power from the spiritual world, from Yahushua, to be like angels in bodies. Understand? So people haven't really seen real men yet in all actuality. All these old effeminate men out here in the world, you haven't seen no real men. You know what I'm saying? Men of the Most High. Men of the Most High were angelic beings in the flesh. They were on high spiritual levels. Okay? You haven't seen nothing yet. Okay? So now, 2 Chronicles 5 and 1.
2 Chronicles 5, verse 1. Thus all the work that Solomon made for the house of Yahweh was finished. And Solomon bought in all the things that David his father had dedicated, and the silver, and the gold, and the instruments put he among the treasures of the house of Yahweh.
So now David is finishing the house of the Most High, which is the temple. And all the things his father David had told him to build it with and everything, right? Okay, go ahead up.
Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel.
He assembled the elders of Israel. Understand? All this is going to happen again, okay? We going?
And all the heads of the tribes, the chief of the fathers of the children of Israel.
All this is going to happen again. Wait till we get back into Mount Zion on the Feast of Tabernacles. All this is going to happen again. Okay, come. Go ahead up.
Unto Jerusalem to bring up the ark of the covenant of Yahweh out of the city of David, which is Zion.
See, out of the city of David, which is Zion. Go ahead up.
Wherefore all the men of Israel assembled themselves unto the king in the feast which was in the 7th month.
Okay, so what feast is this? In the 7th month, we're talking about the 7th new moon, the 7th moon. This is talking about the Feast of Tabernacles. Come. We know it starts with the memorial blowing the trumpets, what we had, right?
Come.
That was, I think, the 18th. That was the 18th. Then you had what? The Day of Atonement. Come. Okay, all these high holy days are in the 7th month. Memorial blowing the trumpet, which is the new moon. The memorial blowing the trumpet always falls on the new moon. Come, the 7th new moon. All right, always falls on that day. And then, of course, you have the Day of Atonement, which we're supposed to fast. Come, fast for that one day. And then you have what? The next high holy day was the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, come. And that's what we're in today. Okay. So Solomon gave the order that all the elders and all the tribes were to gather together on the Feast of Tabernacles, okay, to do what? To sanctify the temple that he had just made for the Most High. Come. And so they were going to have this feast day also, but they were going to celebrate the grand opening of the temple. Come. And so now they're going to bring the Ark of the Covenant from the city of David, from Mount Zion, and present it in the new house of the Most High, which is the temple. Okay? And in 2 Chronicles 7:1, go to 7th chapter, 1st verse. Go ahead up.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 1. Now when Solomon had made an end of praying, the fire came down from heaven and consumed the burnt offering and the sacrifices, and the glory of Yahweh filled the house.
Now, if you want to know if the Most High was with Israel, there you go. Fire came down from heaven, right? And consumed the offering. Right? Anybody ever see that? No, we ain't never seen nothing like that. Okay, not in these times. But back then, the Most High was showing Israel, see, I'm with you. See, the presence of the Most High was with Israel. So that's why the Most High was showing Israel, because all the congregation of Israel was at the temple, and when the priest laid the offering there, the Most High came down in fire and did what? Pretty much ate it up. Does the Most High like to eat? Yes. Most High eats, brother. You know what I'm saying? The Most High eats too. That's why the Most High likes meat too, brother. I'm telling you. See? You ain't gonna offer the Most High. That's what happened with Cain. Cain knew the Most High don't like no fruit and vegetables. The Most High likes fruit and vegetables, but you got to add that with some meat. Understand? Cain brought the wrong offering, and he knew it, right? Most High said, Cain, you knew the law. Why would you bring me, you know what I'm saying, instead of my right offering? Understand? All right? The Most High requires the meat offering, bro. Because he became the devil the Bible speaks of. And Esau being the children of Cain that killed Abel. Understand? The Most High said, well, if you knew what was right, Cain, then sin lieth at the door of you. Meaning who? Who lieth at the door? When he says sin, he immediately means who? Satan. Satan is your right-hand man. Satan is your God. Understand? So, but he knew it. So the Most High don't bring no fruit to the Most High. Or no vegetables. Most High want meat. That's what I want. Some meat, bro. Some good meat. Lamb chops. Understand? Ox tails or something. Understand what I'm saying? Some goat, some good goat meat. Right, that's what we ate, brother. But of course, that meat back then it wasn't GMO. It was the good stuff, the pure stuff. Understand? So the stuff you eat now, it's still suspect, even though it's lamb or whatever. It's still suspect because you got cloned meat out there, so you don't know what you're getting. All right, go ahead, Ak.
And the priest could not enter into the house of Yahweh because the glory of Yahweh had filled Yahweh's house.
Right, isn't that what you want? You want the glory of the Most High to be in your house, brother.
God.
And your house could represent not only a house you live in, but also what? You. You. You want the Most High to dwell in you. So the glory of the house of the Most High say, ye are the temple, right? And he dwelt in the glory of this house. See? Again, present your body as a living sacrifice so the Most High can dwell in you, so he could, use you as he will. But in righteousness, understand? So just like we want the Most High to dwell, the Most High dwelt in this house, we want the Most High to dwell in your house and in your body as that house too. Understand? That's what you want, huh? See, that's the gift that you should be looking for. We look for material gifts. Search for the spiritual gifts. You understand what I'm saying? And then the Most High said, then all things I will add unto you. Understand? Go ahead, up.
And when all the children of Israel saw how the fire came down and the glory of Yahweh upon the house, they bowed themselves with their faces to the ground upon the pavement.
Right, how about that? Now you're going to bow yourself because you see that fire. So that's one thing about Israel. Fire can change any man. Put fire to a man's ass. You know what I'm saying? When we seen that fire, Israel said, oh, wait a minute, that's the Most High there. That was no normal fire, brother. Is the fires in the west, is that a normal fire?
No.
That ain't no normal fire, brother. They can't put that out. The only reason why it goes out is because the Most High said it's time. You notice that? But when it's heated up and everything, that fire is going, those fire trucks and all that, and the helicopters dropping water, that don't put that fire out. Normally, what has to put it out? Some kind of rain. When the Most High brings rain, then the Most High says, okay, it's time. I'll put it out for now. But after what? After acres are scorched. After there's been bloodshed, the Most High said, okay, I'll put it out for a little while. You had about over 20-something states on fire. Understand? And they would tell you, this fire was different. They would put water on it, and the fire would look at them in the eye and say, that ain't hurting me. You ain't putting me out, or the fire would flee and go over there. Fire is running. The fire is running. So it's showing you what? The Most High is in the fire. Yahweh is in the fire. Understand? So same thing here. When the fire came down and took the offering, what did we do as Hebrew Israelites? We bowed ourselves. And it said, and how did they bow? They stood up. Right? They stood up. Okay, well, I'm going to show you in Ezra where it tell you they stood up and put their heads down just like when we stand up for the prayer. Did exactly the same thing. Okay, go ahead, Up.
They bowed themselves with their faces to the ground upon the pavement.
Yeah.
And worship and praise Yahweh.
Yeah, here they bowed themselves here because they seen that fire. They bowed themselves upon the pavement with their faces towards the ground. Okay, Kun, go ahead, Up.
Saying, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever.
See? So the same thing even today. For the Most High is good and his mercy endureth forever. You always bring it up to date, Kun. Always bring it to date. Same thing applies, right? Even today. Go ahead, Up.
Then the king and all the people offered sacrifices before Yahweh. And King Solomon offered a sacrifice of 22,000 oxen.
See? 22,000 oxen. How about that? That was a sacrifice just for Solomon alone. Now you add that with all the other princes and princesses that gave sacrifices, and all the congregation of Israel gave sacrifices. How about that, Doc? Okay, that's how Israel worshiped the Most High. Understand?
Come.
Remember, it was a 7-day feast. So if they couldn't get to all them sacrifices in one day, what they do? Just carry it on the next day. Carry it on the next day. And carry it on the next day. 7-day feast. Understand? Okay, go ahead, Doc.
And 120,000 sheep.
How about that? 120,000 was sacrificed to the Most High. That's a lot of sheep, ain't it? We don't even have one sheep now. we can't sacrifice one sheep. Where do you get sheep from? You know what I'm saying? Who raised sheep today? Especially in the ghetto and the slums. See? But now, Yahweh Shai comes back and says what? That you are the lost sheep.
Come.
Understand? It goes back to you become the living sacrifice. Because you are the lost sheep now.
Come.
Understand? The Most High is not accepting the sheep, the animal. He's accepting you as that sheep. Okay? Go ahead, Al.
So the king and all the people dedicated the house of Yahweh. And the priests waited on their offices.
Okay? So we don't have to read no more, but the priests had a lot of work to do, right? 100,000 some odd sheep. That's a lot of work to offer, right? 22,000 oxen. It's a lot of work. See? So that's what we actually did. You didn't just come to a high holy day and then go home back to, you know what I'm saying? Back to your house doing what you want to do out of pride and all that. No, there's some work to be done. Okay? All right? So now, when you go to Ezra, the book of Ezra, the 3rd chapter and the 1st verse, let's see, Shanya, get Nehemiah 8 and 1. I'm going to read that after this. So we're going to get Nehemiah 8 and 1 first, then we're going to go to Ezra 3 and 1. Just stand up, Shanya, and read it loud for me. Nehemiah 8 and 1.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse 1. And all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street that was before the water gate. And they spake unto Ezra, the scribe, to bring the book of the law of Moses.
See, he spake unto Ezra. Ezra was a scribe to bring the book that was Moses had wrote. Come, and he's going to present it to all the people. Go ahead, Doc.
Which the Most High had commanded to Israel. Verse 2. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and all that could hear with understanding, upon the first day of the 7th month. Verse 3.
See, the first day of the 7th month. The first day of the 7th month is what? High Holy Day? Trumpets. Come. Okay. How about that? Trumpets. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And he heard therein before the street that was before the water gate, from the morning until midday.
How long?
From the morning until midday.
How long were they there reading the law?
From the morning until midday.
Come.
So from the morning, which is about 6 o'clock, 6 hour, or 6 o'clock in the morning, come. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. Midday is what? 12. So they were out there listening and being taught the law for 6 hours. Huh? And you can't last for an hour. You can barely last an hour. See? So we got to be taught something. We got to be taught now to be patient. We got to be taught to be patient, brother, because you got to get this. All right? We're so in a hurry to want to go back out in the world and do what? America's finished. It's over. You got 2 clowns debating who's going to be president. One has dementia and one's an idiot. I mean, this, what you got? So America's finished. They don't know what to do. Understand? So is there any more wisdom in Teman, the scriptures say? There's no more wisdom. So, so we better get together. Understand? And be patient. Go ahead, Senor.
And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate, from the morning until midday.
Are you reading to the 4th verse?
I'm starting.
Go ahead.
Before the men and the women, and those that could understand, and the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law. Verse 4. And Ezra the scribe stood upon a pulpit.
Where did Ezra stand?
Upon a pulpit
Right.
of wood.
Yeah, because now he's before all the congregation of Israel, right? And remember, said their ears were attentive.
Come.
See, brothers come in and sit down and they can't be even attentive for like 20, 30 minutes. Start getting shiftless and lazy and that. Understand? Because you ain't out there and you ain't doing it for money. Now, if you were doing it for money, right? Understand? But this is on a higher level than doing it for money. It's about what? Your whole nation.
Come.
Ruling the whole earth. It's on a different level. Understand? The spiritual aspect of the Most High is on a whole new level. But our people, they just don't understand that because they're still carnal in mind. Okay, go ahead, Op.
Stood upon a pulpit of wood.
See where they'll get the pulpit from? Ezra stood in a pulpit of wood to be above the people. Go ahead, Op.
Which they had made for the purpose, and beside him stood Matthiah and Shema and Ananiah and Elijah and Hilkiah and Maaseiah.
Okay, so you ain't got to read all that, but see all the different men that stood beside Ezra?
Come.
When you see the brothers out there teaching, what do you see? Pretty much the same thing. Some are on, a higher plane. They got like a makeshift pulpit, right? But some brothers just stand on the street. But still, you got the readers. Ezra had readers too.
Come.
Just like we have readers. Understand? That's how it's supposed to be. So Ezra had the reader read, just like we have, get Ezra 3 and 1, right? And then Ezra gave the what? The sense, the understanding of what the reader was reading.
Come.
So all those priests, Levite priests that were next to Ezra, they were reading for him, and then Ezra would give the sense, the understanding to the people.
Come.
And this took, what, from the morning till midday, over 6 hours out. You're talking about how many commandments in the Bible?
613.
He had to give the 613 commandments out. He had to give the sense and understanding of 613 commandments. Do you understand what I'm saying? And why he had to give the sense? Because our people are kind of hard-headed. What do you mean by that? What? Huh? New moon, what? You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? Swine? No pork, what? Swine? Can't eat swine? What does he mean by that?
Come.
I eat swine every day. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, Up.
The book of Ezra, chapter 3, verse 1. And when the 7th month was come, and the children of Israel were in the cities, the people gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem.
See, again, they gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Then stood up Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and his brethren, the priests.
See, they were priests. Go ahead.
And Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and built the altar of Yahweh
Right.
of Israel.
Okay, this was when we were coming out of where? Coming out of the Babylonian captivity. A lot of us were coming out of the Babylonian captivity, and also Israel was given permission by the Persian Empire to build the temple, to rebuild the temple. Come? All right? And that's why the Most High said Cyrus my anointed, because Cyrus was going to be first Persian king to give the authority to the Hebrew Israelites to begin to build the temple back in Jerusalem. And so all the priests and prophets of the Most High were gathered together, okay, because this is now the restoration of the temple, okay, from the we're still in Persian captivity, But from the Persian captivity, we were given the permission to restore it, the temple. And here it is now, the Feast of Tabernacles. They're going to reopen, or understand it's like a celebration, a reopening of the temple. Con? Okay, con? Now, what we read in Chronicles, that was when Solomon first built the temple. Con? That was the Feast of Tabernacles. But here is when we were coming out of the Persian captivity. Okay? And the temple's being rebuilt because it was destroyed by the Babylonians under Nebuchadnezzar. And we went into captivity under Babylon, 70 years, scriptures say? And then from there into the Persian captivity. But from there, the Cyrus was given the authority by the Most High. It was the Most High that Israel can go back and rebuild the temple. And that's what happened. That's what's happening here. And it was on the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, go ahead, Al.
To offer burnt offerings thereon, as it is written in the law of Moses, the man of Yahweh.
See how they went back to what? The law? The law of Moses. Scripture says, for Moses brought the law, but Yahushua brought what? Grace and truth. Brought the gospel, grace and truth. Understand? And I got news for you. Who do you think was giving Moses the commandments? Yahushua. He was the one giving Moses the commandments. Back when we were in the wilderness, it was Yahushua giving him the commandments to give to Israel. Come? Okay, go ahead, Al.
Verse 3. And they set the altar upon his bases, for fear was upon them because of the people of those countries. And they offer burnt offerings thereon unto Yahweh, even burnt offerings morning and evening.
Okay, how about that? The burnt offerings was sent up morning and evening. A lot of work was done. Understand? You think your work is just coming to the high holy day and that's it. No, to serve the Most High was a lot of work, brother. A lot of work to be done. Con? But we were the Hebrew Israelites. We're the Most High's chosen. We're supposed to be the example of the Most High in the flesh on the earth. That's what we're supposed to be like. But because we failed to do that, we broke the covenant, now the Most High had put us down in the earth in captivity under the other nations who are the Gentiles. Okay? And so that was the curse upon us. Go ahead, Al.
Verse 4. They kept also the Feast of Tabernacles, as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number according to the custom, as the duty of every day requires.
See? So now, of course, we can't do that here in America, but we can observe the Feast of Tabernacles. And just like they're re-observing the Feast of Tabernacles there, coming out of the Persian captivity, and all our people from Babylon, all people came from different parts of the earth. They were coming back to Jerusalem. But back then, they needed their papers. They didn't have their papers, proof that they were Israelites. You wasn't getting in. So what's your proof now that you're a Hebrew Israelite? How about that, right? See, the Spirit of the Most High is going to be able to tell who's Israelite and who's not, right? Back then, you need your papers. Ezra doesn't see your papers. You know what I'm saying? And if it didn't prove that you were a Hebrew Israelite, you wasn't getting in. I'm telling you, you wasn't getting in. What if somebody tried to come up with fake papers? Understand what I'm saying? So you got come in like a thief. Or the Spirit would have showed Ezra and them, brother, get out of here. What about them brothers and sisters that had other nations with them? Were they getting in?
No.
They wasn't getting in, bro. What if they had children by those other nations? Were they getting in?
No.
Wasn't getting in, huh? He wasn't getting in. Understand? So what about now? You still ain't getting in.
That's right.
You're still not getting in. You come in like a thief, you're not getting in. Understand? God's the Most High is serious about that. But now, of course, we don't have no papers. What do you have now? See? Yeah. You got to bring yourself now. And then the Most High said, I'm going to sift Israel like corn is sifted in the sieve. So he going to sift out the ones that may look like Israelites, but they're not. A lot of people look like Israelites, right? Look like Hebrews, but they're not. You're going to sift Israel like corn is sifted in the sieve, and the bad ones are going to what? Fall to the ground. Okay? That's how it's going to be done. He said, my sheep going to come to the right and the other nations to the left. Understand? He said, in the last days, all nations shall flee back to what? They're going to flee back to their own land. Understand? It's going to be done. Most of it's going to manifest it. All this going. Once everybody wake up and realizes, wait a minute, these Negroes, these niggas, they're the Hebrews. You understand? And then they're going to start waking up because they realize nationality is going to be what? It's going to be the prime thing. All this old rainbow coalition crap that's in America and everybody come together and, we're one nation. No, we're not one nation in America. I'm saying? So once the Most High put that spirit out there that nationality, who you are, makes the difference. Everybody's going to run right back to their own nationality. You're going to see Chinese go back to China, Japanese go back to Japan. You understand? Everybody going to claim to be who they are. Right? Ain't going to be no, I'm Japanese American or, you know what I'm saying, Arab American. No. I'm going back to Saudi Arabia. I'm going back to my people, right? That's the most I'm going to make it just like that. Because why? The Hebrew Israelites now has revealed who they are. So everybody else going to want to go back to their nation. Okay? Go ahead, up.
From
The fourth verse.
They kept also the Feast of Tabernacles, as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number, according to the custom, as the duty of every day required. And afterward offer the continual burnt offering, both of the new moons and of all the set feasts of Yahweh that were consecrated.
See? The Feast of Tabernacles and the new moons. Everything that was consecrated, everything that was given to Israel, the ceremonial laws. Okay? Ezra brought all that back and gave it back to the congregation and gave them the sense of it and the understanding of it. Because, let's face it, our people being scattered throughout the nations, you're going to lose that. Even back then, our people had lost the understanding. You coming back from Babylon after 70 years in captivity, you don't know what the hell is tabernacle. What is that? You know what I'm saying? Unleavened bread, what is that? High Holy Day, what is High Holy Day? Understand? So he needed to re-educate our people to who they are. You need it now, right? This is, you're being reborn again, brother. This is you being reborn. If a man's going to be reborn, does he go back to his mother's womb? No. It's being reborn spiritually. You're being reborn again. And it's through education, through knowledge and wisdom. Understand? That's what it's through. Go ahead up.
And of everyone that willingly offered a free will offering unto Yahweh.
Yeah, it said willingly, right? See? A willing sacrifice. You got to be a willing sacrifice to the Most High. Understand? You got to give willingly. Not begrudgingly, but willingly. You got to love to do it. Do you want your wife to love you begrudgingly? Or do you want her to love you freely? And understand? Willingly. There's a difference. Don't you think the Most High know if you here just to eat food? You didn't really want to come. Now, let me go to the house of David for the island. I don't really want to go there, man. But they're going to have some good food. They always have good food. Okay, I'll go. See? You don't think the Most High hear that? Don't you hear the murmurings? The Most High said, I'm not a father far off. I can hear what you're saying. I got ears. See? So he hears all that, brother. Okay, go ahead, up.
Verse 6. From the first day of the 7th month began they to offer burnt offerings unto Yahweh. But the foundation of the temple of Yahweh was not yet laid.
Mm-hmm. That was it?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what this is about. But now, how about that? We're in the same condition now. Is the foundation of the Most High's temple laid? Not laid. Okay. First, the Most High had to get you the foundation. Come.
Come.
See, the temple of the Most High is who? You. And then when all the 12 tribes come together, you become that foundation too. So are we laid, the foundation of the temple laid yet? No, it's not laid in righteousness yet. It will be. Understand? So first things first. The people got to get right first. Because you can't run that's why the earth is still in this negative form. You can't run this earth in the condition we're in now. Can't run it. We don't have no knowledge. Physically, we're not right yet. Understand? So we're still in our negative. Understand? So we're not right yet. Okay, get this one. Exodus 23:16. Real quick. Exodus 23:16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 16. And the feast of the harvest, the first fruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast in gathering, which is the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field.
So the feast, you had the feast of the harvest, okay, which is after the barley harvest. And of course, that feast of the harvest is talking about the first fruits. That feast, the feast of the harvest. And then you have the feast of ingathering, which is what? The Feast of Tabernacles. Why is the Feast of Tabernacles also called the Feast of Ingathering? Because it's towards the end of the year, or the coming of the end of the year, or let's say the so-called fall season. And so what would you do before the winters come in, right? What would Israel do? We would gather in all our crops and all our, food stuff and all our fruit and everything, and we would store it for the winter months. That's why it's called the Feast of Ingathering also. And you would do it about this time. Okay, Khan? So it's also called that. Remember that also. The Feast of Ingathering. Go ahead, up.
Verse 17. 3 times in a year, all thy males shall appear before the Alahai of Yahweh. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning.
Okay, so that's it on that, right? But you hear again the 3 times in a year that we go up to Jerusalem, the temple, to worship the Most High on those 3 high holy days. Okay, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, first fruits, and also the Feast of Tabernacles, 3 times in a year. Now, you always want to bring it up to date. Understand? Just like the Most High was showing us, where now you're the offering, okay, you're the temple, okay, presenting your body as a living sacrifice. You always want to bring it up to now. What is the Most High looking for us to do now? Okay? And when you read the scriptures, when you go to where Yahushua, John the 7th chapter in the 2nd verse, Yahushua celebrated the Feast of Tabernacles also. Come? Now, if Yahushua is going to celebrate it, who are we not to celebrate it? Come? Right? Who are we not to celebrate it? Or not, okay, not to observe it. Put it like that. Okay, come? All right. Good. Read that. John 7. I guess you can start from the first verse.
The book of John, chapter 7, verse 1. After these things, Yahushua walked in Galilee, for he would not walk in jewelry, because the Jews sought to kill him.
Right. The Jews, in other words, niggas, sought to kill him. Come? They sought to kill him. So, he was in Galilee. Okay? Now, Galilee, again, we drove from Mount Zion to Galilee when we were in Jerusalem. It took us 2 hours. So the Feast of Tabernacles, which is you're going to read it, is going to come up. But Yahushua said, I'm not going up there because they seek to kill me. Understand? So he stayed in Galilee. Okay, come? But here's what the disciples and his brethren that were around Yahushua was telling him. Okay, go ahead, up.
Now the Jews' Feast of Tabernacles was at hand. His brethren therefore said unto him, Depart hence, and go into Judea, that thy disciples also may see the works that thou dost.
Right. They wanted him to go into Judea to the Feast of Tabernacles so that what? The people can see the work that you do. Instead of doing it in secret, they were saying present yourself to the people so that they can have a better understanding who you are. Understand? Because a lot of times Yahweh Shai would heal somebody and says, don't tell nobody, right? He would heal somebody, don't tell nobody. But here his brethren were like, no, you got to let people know that you are the one that was prophesied to come. Come? Okay, go ahead, up.
Verse 4, for there is no man that doth anything in secret, and he himself seeketh to be known openly. If thou do these things, show thyself to the world.
Yeah, show thyself to the world. Okay, and ultimately, of course, that's what happened. Yahweh Shai was shown to the world. But Yahweh Shai had a mission that he had to die for the sins of the nation of Israel. Come? All right? So now his brethren are trying to convince him to go. But this is what Yahweh Shai said. Go ahead, up.
Verse 5, for neither did his brethren believe in him. Then Yahweh Shai said unto them, my time is not yet come.
And so his brethren, his own brethren still didn't believe in him. How about that? That's why Yahweh Shai said what? A prophet is not known in his own country. Even in amongst his own family. All they said to Yahweh Shai when he came back to do some healing and all that in his own town, they said, you ain't no prophet. You're Joseph's boy. I know you when you were a baby. You ain't no prophet. See, understand what I'm saying? They didn't look at him as, okay, the king or the Mashiach. They didn't look at him like that. They look at him as little Joseph's little boy, little son. Understand? Because why? You're not known in your own country. But when you go amongst other areas, then you're going to be known for who you are. Okay? Go ahead, up.
Then Yahweh Shai said unto them, my time is not yet come.
My time is not yet come. What was Yahweh Shai talking about? It's not time for me to be what? Crucified. Understand? On the cross. It's not time for that to happen to me yet. Go ahead, up.
But your time is always ready.
Yeah, your time is always ready. Yeah, and your time is ready now. Understand? Because what did Israel say? Crucify him. Didn't we say that? Crucify him, and let his blood be on us and our children. And didn't that happen? His blood is on us and our children. Now you see why you're getting shot in the street, in the back, and then knee is on your neck. See, all that stuff is happening. Okay, go ahead, up.
Then Yahweh Shai said unto them, my time is not yet come, but your time is always ready.
Your time is always ready. No, but go ahead, up.
The world cannot hate you, but me it hated.
See, the world cannot hate you, but me it hated. Understand? So we got to look at it spiritual now. It hates Yahweh Shai because we represent who? We represent Yahweh Shai, right? The Hebrew Israelites as a nation in this earth represent the Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, on the earth. But we got to act like it. We got to be the example of a Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, on this earth. See, we're not acting like it. And this is why these things are happening to us. When we begin to act like it, the nations are going to begin to recognize us as such. The children of Yahweh Ba'asham HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. They're going to begin to recognize us as such. Okay? It's coming, brother. Okay? Haven't you read the scriptures where it says the nations, the Gentiles, will bring us to Mount Zion as what? As an offering? They're going to grab hold to the skirt of him that called himself a Jew. And they're going to come and bring you to, they're going to pay your way to get back to Jerusalem. They're going to fly you there. However, you know what I'm saying? They're going to pay it themselves. And they're going to say, see the Most High, I brought one of your chosen back to you. That's going to happen too. That's going to manifest. I brought one of your chosen back. So all that's going to manifest out. Understand? Okay, go ahead, up.
The world cannot hate you, but me it hates.
Say the world hate Yahweh Shai. Go on.
Because I testify of it, that the works thereof are evil.
Right. So how are you going to uphold Black Lives Matter? How are you going to uphold politics? Or trying to get people when he said the works are evil? It's all evil. So how are you going to uphold this stuff? How are you going to uphold Christmas and all these holidays and religion and all that? It's all evil. Understand? So that's why they hate you. They can't get to your Hawashai. So the best thing people and that's why they shoot you down the streets, put their knee on your neck, and so on and so forth. That's why they do it. Also because of the hatred, for you. The historical hatred they have for you. Right? Edom has a what? Perpetual hatred. What? Jacob, Isaac and Rebekah had Esau and Jacob, that hatred. And Jacob supplanted Esau of his birthright. Esau look at this nigga and say, that's Jacob. Kill him, I gotta shoot him in the back. Think about that. It's on that level. We look at it as racism. No, that ain't racism. Goes back to the old hatred. Esau and Jacob, bro. That's how he's dealing with you. The leaders are dealing with you according to history. According to who you are. You just don't know who you are. Understand? Go ahead, up.
Verse 8. Go ye up unto the feast. I go not up yet unto this feast, for my time is not yet full come.
My time is not yet full come. Go ahead, up.
When he had said these words unto them, he abode still in Galilee.
See, he still abode in Galilee when he said these words unto them. But go on.
But when his brethren were gone up, then went he also up unto the feast, not openly, but as it were in secret.
Right, see? So when his brethren went first, then Yahushua made the decision to go up to the Feast of Tabernacles. Come? Went up to the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, go ahead, up.
Then the Jews sought him at the feast and said, where is he?
Yeah. Where is he that called himself the Messiah? Where's this man that does all these miracles? In other words, where is this Negro? Okay? Just think about if there was somebody like that now here in America. Would you go there? No. You probably wouldn't go there, right? Well, now we wouldn't go there because we know what? Because we know Yahushua is not coming walking on the ground, right? See? But just think about it back then. Right? So now they're looking for Yahushua at the feast. Go ahead, up.
Verse 12. And there was much murmuring among the people concerning him. For some said, he is a good man. Others said, nay, but he deceiveth the people. Howbeit no man spake openly of him for fear of the Jews. Now about the midst of the feast, Yahushua went up into the temple and taught.
See? What did Yahushua do at the feast? Even Yahushua taught at the temple. Even he had a class. Even he had did some teaching, right? So that people can get some understanding. Right? And that's what we're supposed to do. Because at this critical juncture, right, point in time in history, our people needed what? Understanding. Understand? They need understanding. Because they didn't understand what Yahushua, what he was coming for. They thought that Yahushua was coming to do what? Bring the kingdom of heaven in. That's all they were looking for, kingdom of heaven. Okay? What was prophesied in the Old Testament, bring in the kingdom of heaven. That's all they thinking. Yahushua said, Okay? It's not going to be that easy. You got to fall first. You got to go into captivity. You got to understand the gospel. Understand? You got to understand his law, statute, commandments. See? That's what Yahushua came for. To really teach us all of that. Okay, go ahead, Doc.
Verse 15. And the Jews marveled, saying, how knoweth this man letters, having never learned?
Okay, so that's it. So how knoweth this man letters? How does he know this and hasn't been taught? But of course, again, they didn't see him as Hamashiach Yahushua. They didn't see him as that. Okay? So how was he able to teach all that? But again, showed you Yahushua celebrated the Feast of Tabernacles, right? So he kept the commandment. And then when you go to Matthew 5:17, it says what? It says Yahushua came not to destroy the law. He came not to destroy the law or what the prophets wrote. Matthew 5:17, read that.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets.
All right, so why would he celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles? If the law was destroyed, why would Yahweh Shai celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles?
Come.
You understand that? Come? That means the law is not destroyed. That's what he's saying. Come? So Yahweh Shai went up to the Feast of Tabernacles, but showing you this, that he came not to destroy the commandments. Go ahead, up.
Think not that I have come to destroy the law or the prophets. I have come not to destroy, but to fulfill.
But to fulfill. Understand? To fulfill the law, statute, commandments. Go ahead, up.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law.
Say one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the commandment.
Right.
Nothing is gone up.
Right.
So all them brothers that are talking about, and y'all know what brothers we talking about. You hear it out there. Okay? Those brothers. Saying the law is done away, you don't have to keep the commandment. They out of their damn minds.
Come.
Okay? They out of their minds. How are you going to build a nation and not teach the commandment? That's order. Understand? How are you going to do that? And I'm going to show you, faith is in conjunction with the commandment. Say, well, I don't know, because a lot of brothers come back, that's all Christian mentality. I have faith, but I don't have to keep the commandment. No, faith and the commandment go together.
Come.
It's in conjunction with faith. That's where those brothers are going wrong. And you have that in Israel. We know we got it in the Christian churches, but you have it in Israel too. Why? Because that demon is still out there. And that demon is amongst Israel and is perpetrating a fraud amongst Israel.
That's a Hellenistic spirit.
As a Hellenistic spirit. Right. Understand? It's in conjunction with it. And so, get just the Apocrypha, 15, Ecclesiasticus 15:15. And then we don't have to go any further after that. Okay, Ecclesiasticus 15:15.
The book of Ecclesiastes, Salakia, the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 15, verse 15.
Come, go
That
ahead.
thou wilt to keep the commandments and to perform acceptable faithfulness.
You're right. Say, keep the commandments to perform acceptable faithfulness. And something, read that one more time, Bob.
If thou wilt to keep the commandments
Keep the commandments to do what?
and to perform acceptable faithfulness.
See? So you say you have faith, but the Most High is putting it in what? The condition is you keep the commandments in your faith. Come? You understand that? So who are these brothers saying that? You know? You got one of them who's a rapper, and you know what I'm saying, coming to Israel thinking he's this and that. Again, you got to come through the straight gate. Because you're a rapper don't mean nothing. Most I don't care about what you had out in the world. And you expecting everybody to follow you because you all of a sudden come up with some kind of indoctrination that the law is done away with. You don't have to keep it. Where'd you get that from? Some demon out in the world is in you now. Let's face it, that's what that is. It's a demon. And because we're in the end now, those demons are going to be in brothers. Okay? And in these brothers who say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. How about that? Look, Yahweh Shai said, yeah, there's one of you amongst me is going to betray me today. And then what he said? He said, I chose you 12. One of you is the devil. The Bible speaks of. He didn't say Bible speaks, but one of you is the devil. Right? And then here comes Judas, like the devil. Is it me? Yahweh, is it me? Yahweh Shai, is it me? Yahweh Shai said, look at this guy. Yahweh Shai said, yes, this you. Now go do what you got to do. Right? So, in these last days, what is Satan going to do? He's going to multiply himself. He's going to be now amongst brothers who know they're Hebrew Israelites. You got whole schools that are dealing with nothing but Satan and the witchcraft, everything. Got all kinds of monies and all that stuff. Understand? Sold out. Everything. Understand? That's what's happening. They're selling out. So if Yahweh Shai can call one of his own disciples the son of perdition, what do you have here today? A lot of sons of perdition running around here. What you have? Go ahead up.
Verse
Read
16.
that one more time, that part, yeah.
Verse 15. If thou want to keep the commandments and to perform acceptable faithfulness.
See, keep the commandments and perform it, acceptable faithfulness. See, it's in conjunction with what? The law's faith is in conjunction with the commandments. Go ahead, up.
He hath set fire and water before thee.
See, fire and water is before you. See, because trials and tribulations are going to be what? Before you. You got to understand that. Jacob's trouble is before you.
Right.
The tribulation period is before you.
Right.
All that is before you. You still got to have faith in keeping the commandments even through all of that. That's what the Most High wants to see. Present your body as a living sacrifice. See? Be faithful unto what?
Death.
Even if it requires death, you still are faithful. That's what he wants to see. Go ahead, up.
Stretch forth thy hand unto whether thou wilt.
See, now what are you going to do? Understand? Which one are you going to accept? That's why the Most High told Israel in the wilderness, right? He said, Israel, what are you going to choose? Life? Or are you going to choose death? And remember, the scriptures say, where's that? I think it's in Isaiah, they chose and made a covenant with who? With what?
Death.
With death. You chose death. You made a covenant with death. You broke the covenant of Most High and then went into the devil, Satan, and made a covenant with death.
Right.
So when you make all these allegiance to the world and to Esau and other nations, you're making a covenant with death. That's what you're doing. Just don't even realize it. And because you think, well, death didn't come to me. I've been a Republican for all these years. Death didn't come to me. Yeah, but it will. Ask Herman Cain, the 999 guy. 999. He's 9 in the grave, 9 foot under. With coronavirus. Now they say Trump got it. The Simpsons ain't been wrong yet. So, who knows what they might do with that coronavirus with Trump? You know what I'm saying? Just think about that. Simpsons ain't been wrong yet. They show him in a coffin, but they don't show how. Okay? But still, nonetheless, okay, it's how you present yourself to the Most High. Go ahead, up.
Verse 17. Before man is life and death.
Say, before man is life and death. So again, that's what, when you read the scriptures, right? Okay, in the wilderness, what the Most High presented to Israel, life and death. Okay, go ahead.
And whether him liketh shall be given him.
Yeah, what do you like? You know, some of our people like death. Understand? Because I got news for you. When you choose the covenant of death, death don't come right away. So in your mind, you think what? The pride sets in. And you think, oh, I've done a good job. I'm a Republican. You know what I'm saying? I hold a Republican seat or a Democratic seat, don't matter. Understand? Or even an independent seat, still don't matter. It's still all one and the same. Right? And you think because you've been doing it for so long that nothing's wrong. That you're serving the Most High. But you're serving Satan all that time. Same thing out in the world. Yeah, you celebrate Christmas, you had a Christmas tree, you've been doing it for years and years and years in your family, and you think nothing wrong with it. Because the Most High didn't bring death right away. But every year, what do you hear? Houses burn up because of the Christmas tree. Understand? What do you hear? I'm saying every Halloween, what do you hear? Death. So it does come, but it's when the Most High going to bring it, right? Go ahead, Op.
For the wisdom of Yahweh is great, and he is mighty in power, and beholdeth all things. And his eyes are upon them that fear him, and he knoweth every work of man.
You're right.
He hath commanded no man to do wickedly, neither hath he given any man license to sin.
Right. So we're going to read that one more time. But he commanded no man to do wickedness. See? No man do wickedness. So where you think that you're helping all people out in America because you're part of the Egyptology or the conscious community, Most High didn't command you to do that. You're not helping all people because you're part of the Nation of Islam and some religion of the world or Christianity or whatever. That's not helping all people. Black Lives Matter doesn't help all people. God. Understand this? Doesn't help all people. Okay? Two lesbian folk or whatever, they run the whole thing. Understand? And so, of course, you got the elite who fund Black Lives Matter. So does that really help us? No. See? So Most High's not with none of that madness. But in their mind, out of pride, they think that's going to help us because it moves them politically in certain areas in this world. But the Most High never did care about that. So he never did care about politics and what civil rights did for us. Didn't do nothing for us, right? Because if it did something for us, how come we still getting shot in the back? How come the knee is still on our neck? Didn't help us. Okay, go ahead, up.
He have commanded no man to do wickedly.
No man is commanded to do wickedly. Go ahead.
Neither have he given any man license to sin.
No man's a license to sin. Okay, so where a man says, well, we don't have to keep the commandment now. See, those are those type of men who are saying, well, we got a license to sin now because we're in our captivity. No, you don't. He didn't give you that license. Okay? Matter of fact, the scripture says, in your current captivities and where you are in the world, he said, okay? He said, live and do righteously. So that's what the Most High is showing us. And that, you got more in there?
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, 19.
Read.
Whosoever thou shalt break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, are the least in the kingdom of heaven.
So now, think about those brothers now who are saying, go ahead and out there and sin. It's okay. Most High said, those brothers are going to be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Think about that, huh? They're teaching brothers and sisters and our people not to keep the law. It's all right to break the law. They're going to be called least in the kingdom. That's going to manifest itself. Understand? It's going to come. Go ahead, huh?
But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
So the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So that's why here at the house of David, we're going to teach the law, statutes, commandments to the best of our ability. Khan?
Khan.
Khan?
Khan.
Khan?
Khan.
Okay, Shabbat Shalom. Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Okay, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Okay, shalom, shalom, shalom. Okay, we're going to say the prayers right now. Shalom. The anointing? That's right, the anointing. That's right. We're going to anoint.
Stand. Imagine what Pani Hakudam. Turn to face east for the anointing prayer. Yabaraki Yahweh, Waya Shamarka, Ya'ar Yahweh, Funyawa, Haliyaka, Waya Chunka, Yasha'ar Yahweh, Funyawa, Haliyaka, Waya Shemlaka, Shalom, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Rom Gadal, Allah Shadiak, Amalak, Amalakiam, Alawan, Alawaniam, Shema'ayel, Wabarak, Warapah, Yabaraka, Yahweh, Allah Shamlaka, Yahweh,
Wanyawa Aliyaka.
Waya Kanka, Yahweh, Yahweh, Baha.
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Quara,
Quara,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Yahshua,
Yahshua,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Arayallah,
Arayallah,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
great,
great,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Titus,
Titus,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Derek,
Derek,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
The Kazakala.
Kazakala,
Kazakala,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Mansha'Allah,
Masha'Allah,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Nagana Pash,
Nagana Pash,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Will,
Will,
Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Zakah,
Zakah,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Raganaya,
Raganaya,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Natazakaba,
Nakazakaba,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Barak Repa,
Rabbi Allah,
Rabbi Allah,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Yarapa,
Yarapa,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Maka'alaba,
Maka'alaba,
Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Ainwa,
Ainwa,
Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Kazak,
Kazak, Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Obadiah,
Obadiah,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Saba,
Saba,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa, Kazak, Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Ratazakah,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa,
Yam,
Banyamya, Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa, Aman Wala, Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak Repa,
Barak Repa, Mike Allah, Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa,
Yahweh Ba,
Yahweh Ba,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai, Repa, Yakanan, Yakanan,
Yakanan,
Yakanan, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa, Ratazala, Hashem, Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Barak
Repa,
Awar,
Awar, Yahweh Hashem,
Yahweh
Shai, Yahweh Shai,
Barak
Barak Repa,
Bahayawa,
Bahayawa, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa, Nashara, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa, Gabby, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa, Gabara Shara, Gabara Malaka, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa, Saladonia, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, Repa, Barak Repa, Shania, Bahashem, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa,
Barakaya, say it
Barakaya, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa, Azrael, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa, Kana, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa, Tamar, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa, Yasha'Allah, Hashem, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, Barak Repa, Yahusha, Shema, Lanawa, Aidah, Shalat, Micah Allah, Walahayim, La, Shama'ayim, Kol, Bunyan, Yasha'Allah, Barak, Kol, Bunyan, Yasha'Allah, Rapah, Kol, Bunyan, Yasha'Allah, Shama'ayim,
Barak.
Barak.
Ahabiyatsapariya.
Ahabiyatsapariya.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
The water.
Gamyad.
Aman.
Aman.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Shema.
Lenawa.
Aitha.
Aitha.
Shalak.
Ahabia.
Rabiam.
Rabiam.
Pariam.
Pariam.
Rabiam.
Rabiam.
Wamiam.
Rabiam.
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 Rakiam.
Rakiam.
Rabiam.
Rabiam.
Kaliam.
Kaliam.
Aliam. Rabiam.
Rabiam.
Qualiam.
Qualiam.
Sapiam.
Sapiam.
Akiam.
Akiam.
Akiwa.
Akiwa.
Ahabiyatsapariam.
Ahabiyatsapariam.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
The water.
Gamyad.
Gamyad. Aman.
Aman.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Barak.
Barak.
Makalnawa.
Makalnawa.
Washatanawa.
Washatanawa.
The water.
Gamyad.
Gamyad. Aman.
Aman.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Barak Lanawa.
Barak Lanawa.
Wa'isha'ala.
Wa'isha'ala.
Wahabiyatsapariam.
Wahabiyatsapariam.
Ben, where you at?
Shema.
Yasher Allah, Yahweh, Allah Hayya, Yahweh, Shema, Yasher Allah, Yahweh, Allah Hayya, Yahweh, Shema, Yasher Allah, Yahweh, Allah Hayya, Yahweh,
Sisters. Hail Israel, Yahweh, power, Yahweh is one. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. You said a prayer for the food and all that? You said all that, right? Okay, yeah, you did. Okay. All right. All right. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Kwam ya shalom.